Hello and welcome to my space here. This is going to be the extended weekly reading for the week of November 24th through the 30th, but whenever this message reaches you or you come across this message, regardless of the date, it is meant for you, so trust and receive. I like to also mention that your intuition is your highest guide above all else, so make sure you pay attention to this signs from your own intuition above the messages you're receiving from me. And I also like to remind you that gender does not apply here. So I use he or she sometimes, but we all have both masculine and feminine energies within us. So it's really about balancing those. So if you're here because of the blog, then thank you for reading. If you haven't read the blog, you can go ahead and check that out. I left the link below, and there might be some more guidance there for you. So what we need to know for this week, which is what I pulled for the blog, is Four of Swords. So I love this interpretation of the Four of Swords because it's an energy of, there's kind of a glare on it, but I love the tiger. It's the energy of meditation, right? He's sitting in meditation pose, and that's kind of what I was picking up right away. But also to clarify the Four of Swords, I pulled the solar plexus chakra, which I love because look at the yellow on the card, and I was literally guided to wear yellow today. So when I saw that, I couldn't believe it. And obviously that represents the solar plexus chakra. I was feeling this very warming, beautiful energy, and collectively our solar plexus chakra is expanding. Think about the power struggles and the power, the abuse of power that's happening in our country, that's happening in the world. Hello, solar plexus chakra, like waking up our solar plexus chakra to remember our power, to remember our self-worth and who we are, like why are we here and what is our purpose here. So it's this energy of expanding the solar plexus chakra, but what comes with that is lots of guilt, lots of disempowerment, lots of criticism. Just like think about your stomach, right? So we kind of got into this last week with this energy of body shame, and what we're really coming to recognize that our power doesn't come from anything outside of us, and we've been taught for our entire lives and for generations and generations that our power comes from externally, right? And think of this week, Happy Thanksgiving week here in America, in the US. I love the week of Thanksgiving. It's also the week of my father's birthday. Every year on Thanksgiving, it's either on Thanksgiving or one of the days before or after. So it's this energy of blessings. And I mentioned my father just because he passed in June, so this will be the first birthday we spend without him. And the first Thanksgiving, the first real holiday there was 4th of July, but that family holiday of Thanksgiving and gathering. So I was also picking up, not to get too personal, but I was also picking up on this energy of, feeling very alone or isolated this week and feeling really disempowered. And a lot of times when we're feeling alone, we'll be in the company of other people, even if they're not so good company. Like if they're toxic or they're not good for your health or they bring you down or they just don't make you feel good about yourself or their energy, is very negative, then, sometimes we can settle, right? And a lot of people are settling in relationships, but it's this energy of settling in company. And just because you're feeling alone, don't go and settle for a company that's mediocre just because you would rather, not sit with yourself. And that's what this Four of Swords is all about, sitting with yourself. And a lot of people, we're taught to avoid this, right? This time of year, Thanksgiving, the holidays, has been so fucking distorted by our consumeristic society that is draining people. It is making them literally sick. People are sick. They're burnt out to the mother trucking max. I mean, they're so burnt out because this time of year is meant to be slowed down. And what do we do this time of year? We speed it up 1,000-fold. Think of the things we're bombarded, the commercials for Christmas, the things for Thanksgiving, we're being bombarded. And instead of being taught to slow down this time of year and to be really grateful, we're saying consume, compare, overwork, overspend, and it's just disgusting. It's literally draining our life force energy. This is our life force energy. This is what makes us feel powerful and strong and worthy and valuable. And we've been taught that our value and our worthiness comes from how much we are doing, how much we're producing, how much we're achieving, how much we're making in our bank accounts, how big our houses are. And we're going and we're trying to, fill this huge void of personal power in the outside world. And that will always suck your power away because your power comes from within. And a lot of times when we struggle with self-worth, because I was picking up on insecurities and doubts, that's our solar plexus chakra, feeling really insecure, feeling full of doubt, feeling full of insecurity. And a lot of us weren't taught to build ourselves up. build ourselves up. Maybe we were bullied, or maybe we were put down, or, think about our society and how disgusting it is towards men and towards women. There's this energy I'm picking up of gender roles, and this energy of identity roles, like you were put into a certain identity at a very young age, especially gender, right? I've said this in a video before, and I'll say it again, that I believe that all children are non-binary. They don't, they express both their masculine and feminine energies freely, right? And that's what happens when you and think of the Four of Swords here. It's this look, he's even balancing those swords on the tips of his fingers because he's using his mind power, right? So when you balance your masculine and feminine energies within yourself, oh my goodness gracious, I'm like vibrating because it's like so empowering, right? You begin to empower yourself, and that's what we're learning is, a lot of us are giving our power away to relationships that aren't serving us, but that are fucking sucking us dry, right? We're giving our time and energy to jobs that aren't supporting us, but are sucking us dry, right? They're supporting us through this mental construct that we believe that money is safety. We believe that money is security. We believe that 401k and insurance and all these things are security. Like, if we had these things, then we're gonna be safe, and it's just a complete fucking sham. And how much money are you spending on these things that you don't necessarily need? When you cultivate mind power, you are a healthy mother trucker. You are so healthy because you're emanating this energy of divine health, because your energies are balanced, and your energy is your immune health. And I'm not saying that you're like invincible and you're not ever going to get sick, but it really, when your mind is healthy, then your body is going to follow. But think about our society and how sick we are in our minds, right? And a lot of people, we don't want to face that. We're not, oh no, we don't have anxiety. We're not sick in the minds. We're not deluded. Yes, we are. And that's, it's funny because we'd rather stay blind to it. And when we close our eyes and we connect with our heart space, we are free, we are expansive, we are multidimensional, we are, we can transform, and we can shed old layers of ourselves. We don't have to be the person we were 10 years ago. We have permission to let those pieces of us go. We are meant to grow and we're meant to evolve, but our society has taught us to stay stuck, right? Because it keeps a higher power, right? It keeps keeps the hierarchy operating, but it's keeping a lot of people small. I'm feeling these people just being squished. Like, you might be feeling like you're squished, or you're like this fucking big, because think of this energy of the solar plexus chakra. It's this energy of feeling really weak. So maybe you feel really small, or you feel like a piece of shit. That's just kind of the energy I'm picking up on. I don't mean to be rude, but it's like, have you ever felt like that, where you just feel like a complete piece of shit, a complete loser, like a complete fuck up? And I know I can't be the only one, and I know that there are other people that feel that way, but we've also been taught to pretend that we don't feel that way, right? When we pretend we don't feel that way, we're in complete resistance to it. So the energy of the Four of Swords is this energy of surrender. It's kind of incorporating more of your feminine energy. And to me, the solar plexus chakra is kind of more of our masculine energy, where it's like that taking action. It's like that very powerful energy. It's the energy of the sun, right? Think of your solar plexus chakra as your inner sun. Like, let your light radiate. A lot of you might have been taught to suppress your joy, right? A lot of us were taught to neglect and to not prioritize our happiness, to not prioritize our peace, to not prioritize our joy and our passions. We were taught to put those things on the back burner and to go consume and to go, sit in a job for 8 hours just in order to survive. I mean, that's just not living, and that's how a lot of us are forced to live. And if you obviously there's a lot of things that go in hand, like a lot of privilege, right? Or not everybody gets to live that way, right? Where we're in this energy of like, I truly believe in myself, and some people are just trying to make it through the day, and I'm there with you. Some days all I can do is focus on the 24 hours in front of me, and that's what this is about. This is a mindfulness practice, coming back to the present moment, cultivating presence, because in that presence you feel connected with all that is, and through all that is what gives you strength. And you'll notice that strength comes from compassion. When people are attacking you or being rude to you or hating on you or judging you for no reason, your strength comes from recognizing that you can be compassionate towards them because they're projecting their own insecurities, their own doubts, their own fears, their own judgments onto you that has nothing to do with who you are as a person. And a lot of times we give our power away every time we let somebody make us feel bad about ourselves, every time we allow somebody to make us feel like shit or like a loser, whatever. Every time we allow somebody to have that much power over our emotions, there's a lot of gaslighting going on. There's just power struggle in relationships. I have so many messages coming through. So if you'd like something more personal or detailed, I definitely do private readings, so definitely message me. But there's just a lot of energy of, giving your power away, or feeling really doubtful or insecure, like I can't do it, I can't make it on my own. And I've been repeating this mantra because I've struggled with that feeling my whole life, is I can succeed and I will succeed. And succeeding isn't like, to me, succeeding is this energy of like mastering yourself. And how can I master myself? How can, every time I'm being faced with difficulty in the external world, whether it be somebody putting me down or whether it be facing some kind of financial hardship, how can I meet it with more consciousness, more awareness, more presence, more love, more like, how can I see this? Okay, because it's Sagittarius season, that was coming from the blog. What is this teaching me, right? Because Sagittarius is the energy of the spiritual teacher. So, and that's what meditation is. It's studying yourself, going within. Why am I behaving this way? Why am I having these feelings of so much doubt? What is it that I'm so scared of? Am I scared of actually being seen? Am I scared of being too much? Am I scared? What is it? Like, am I scared of being abandoned? Is that what keeps me in this very toxic relationship? Is because I'm scared that I'm not good enough, or I'll never have anything better. Like, so I stay here because it's safe, but it's really making me feel really uncomfortable, and I don't feel safe here, and I don't feel myself here, and I feel small here, and I feel weak here. This is making me really sick. Like, some of you might be actually getting really sick, physically sick, from being in very unhealthy relationships. And especially if you ever sleep with somebody, I'm picking up on sex for some reason, but if you sleep with somebody and then you feel sick to your stomach afterwards, you're gonna have to get that person out of your bed, out of your life, out of your relationship. That's draining your power. That will suck you dry. So if you ever are, and a lot of, young women are taught to be very promiscuous, even young men. So this is a message for both sex, both genders, like if you feel disempowered after having sex with somebody, that is a sign, so take that as a message, like this is not good for my health. Because your sexual energy is also that life force energy that gives you vitality, that makes you feel, powerful and strong and healthy, So there is a huge message. I want to get more into like what we're not seeing clearly, but I am picking up on this message of health, mental health, especially with the Four of Swords. So if you struggle with anxiety right now, if you're struggling with lots of doubts, insecurities, any fears, picking up a meditation routine. I have so many meditations available on my YouTube for free of all different kinds. So they're guided, and especially if you're a beginner, they're great for beginners. But there is a ton of them out on YouTube, and I also offer private guided meditation sessions specific to your own needs. So if there's something you're struggling with, specifically a certain chakra that you're maybe dealing with, or a certain issue in your life you're dealing with, I would love to guide you through a meditation that would be yours to keep forever. And you can kind of use it. I see meditation as a form of like medicine, and it helps me stay mentally and emotionally balanced. And that's, our mental aspect is our masculine energy, our emotional aspect is our feminine energy. And when we keep those aspects of ourselves balanced, we see harmony in our external world. We see harmony in our relationships. So that's why I really highly recommend meditation. It has been a life changer for me. Literally, it has changed my life. It's changed my mind. It's changed how I see myself. It's changed how I see the world. Oh my gosh, it's been so eye-opening, right? And a lot of times, our minds are so small, but when we begin to quiet our minds, actually, we see that we aren't the thoughts of those doubts, those worries, those fears, those insecurities. We're something much more expansive, something much more incomprehensible to the mind, and the only thing we can do is feel it. So meditation helps you bypass the thinking mind and drop into the subconscious mind. And your subconscious mind is also your body. So forming a really healthy relationship with your body, if you know anything about me, is I have struggled with body image my entire life. I was very obese, and one thing I actually want to mention here, and I'm going to make a video about this later on, is obesity is kind of seen as this, like, people are just lazy. They're just fucking lazy. People that are obese are just lazy. And I can tell you that this is a big lie, because I was obese, and I'm one of the least lazy persons there are. I have a lot of will. I have, I've obviously gotten this far, and I've always, been very active, or like I enjoyed sports and doing things like that. So it's not necessarily because we're just lazy, right? Fat people aren't just lazy. Yes, it can make us tired, it can make us lethargic, but really what it's coming from this, for me, it was food grounded me. So, I would always have something to eat, and this got me out of my mind. So it was just like a habit, it was just keeping me out of my mind. And I found that when I'm eating, that's when I'm coming into my body, right? So now I just do lots of different activities that bring me into my body. I still love to eat. I eat different foods, but I still eat foods that aren't that great for you as well. So, it's all about the mind power. And I really learned a lot from Paramahansa Yogananda, who's an ascended master of mine, about using your mind and using your will to like will off your weight, to, really using your mind power to, see yourself as your immaculate self, your immaculate version of yourself, and seeing yourself more from this place of like your highest self, right? And then when you begin to see yourself in that light, and you're no longer seeing yourself as this distorted image, because a lot of us see ourselves through how other people see us, like the names we've been called, or even how our parents talk to each other will shape how we see ourselves. So really getting to meditation allows for you to sort through the subconscious mind, which stores everything you've ever seen or heard or felt through your sensations in any lifetime. It carries all the information of every single one of your chakras, and your chakras are like little energetic centers that are kind of like, think of them like hard drives kind of in your computer. They're like just different disks that carry different information, and they're encrypted with different codes. And when you bypass the thinking mind and you go into your subconscious mind, you can decode these codes through your own knowing, through your own intuition. And that takes a lot of work. And what I mean by work is being still. And a lot of us think that working is, busting our balls and feeling dog ass tired by the end of the week. But working is seriously willing your mind to stay at peace, to stay centered, right? So to bypass your thinking mind and go into your subconscious mind allows for you to kind of discover your toxic habits, your bad habits, and how you can it's like reorganizing. You're going into your subconscious mind, and think of it like this closet. Think of it like Monica's closet and Friends, if you've seen that episode or if you've seen Friends. How she knows she's like the cleanest freak ever, and then she has this closet filled of just so much shit, and it's like busting out of the door. I'm just seeing that episode in my mind, so that's a message for somebody. But that's what the subconscious mind is like. It's like all the buried stuff we don't want to deal with, and we just shove it in a closet. Or did you ever do that as a kid? You just like shove your stuff under your closet, under your bed, hoping your parents would come in and be like, oh yeah, your room's all clean. Good job. That's what I'm seeing. I don't know why I'm laughing so hard, but that's funny. So like allowing yourself to kind of sit with all that shit you've kind of just shoved away, and you're like, nah, I don't want to deal with this, I'll put it in the closet for later, And that's kind of like our wounds and like our shadows. We just like push them aside, and we're like, nah, you're not very pretty, I don't want to deal with you. Like, you're not very pleasing to me. Like, you're making me feel sad, or you're making me feel upset, or you're making me feel angry or alone. I don't want to deal with you. That's kind of what we do to our emotions too. We're like, fuck you, I don't want to listen to you, like, go away. So the subconscious mind allows for you to, come back and deal with those. And all of our emotions are stored in our bodies. So anyway, I'm getting very rambly, but lots of information coming through today. What are we not seeing clearly this week, Spirit? What is going on behind the scenes that we're not seeing clearly? Tigers obviously might be a spirit animal. There was a message from the spirit of the tiger in my blog if you'd like to check that out. Also the lion, which is associated with the solar plexus chakra. Anything, you might be drawn to the color yellow, or work with any like yellow crystals like citrine, or that's about the only one I can think of right off the top of my tongue. But also clear quartz for the mind. Yes, but also you might be drawn to like sunflowers or yellow flowers in your home. I'm even seeing dandelions. So anything yellow, you might just want to be, or eat yellow foods. That's what Spirit is saying. Try to eat yellow foods like bananas or lemons. What else? There's got to be other yellow food. Squash. Oh yes. Okay. So anyway, lots of messages coming through. What are we not seeing clearly, Spirit? Oh yes, more yellow, and I love this. Another swords card, Ace of Swords. So what we're not seeing clearly is that we have clarity. And I love the owl on this card. I've been seeing owls a lot as spirit animals. I'll see them in my dreams. I was also picking up that you might see the spirit of the tiger come to you in the dream. So that might be a message for you. I'm also just picking up on dream states. Like a lot of you, and think of meditation less of like this, like you have to sit in meditation pose and like, like let go of that. It could be like resting, like taking a nap. I was picking up in my blog post that more people just need to rest and take a time out, retreat, relax. Like that's kind of the Ace of Swords too. Is like Ace of Swords is like a gift of clarity. So if you have this time right now where you're feeling very confused, that's why Spirit is saying meditate, retreat, go within, be in the stillness, be in the silence, quiet your mind, put distractions aside. Like, you know, a lot of times we can have the TV on this time of year and there's so much noise, but the veil is so thin that we can hear, we can hear spirit guides, and we can hear we can communicate intuitively. We can, communicate with our ancestors and stuff, and with our angels. But when our mind is so flippin' clouded with our social media scrolling all the time, and with our TVs on full blast, shut off the effing news. Like, don't listen to this BS anymore. It is feeding your fear, and that is exactly the purpose of the news. I'm a huge boycotter of the news. Like, do not just trust everything you blindly see on the news, people. Please. You have clarity within your own mind. Come in here. Quiet yourself. Listen to some relaxation music. Tom Kenyon is a great resource if you're needing to retreat and just lay in the silence and meditate. You can find his stuff online. Maybe I'll even leave the link below. But even just pulling up stuff on YouTube and listening to some sound baths and just doing something to maybe even reading. Look at this owl. She has glasses on. That's so cute. Maybe get a book. I've been so drawn to reading, especially because I don't have a TV, and I noticed I was watching TV too much. That's why I kind of got rid of the TV. I was spending too much time absorbing outside information when I really needed to quiet my mind and listen to especially this time of year, like I was saying, the veil is so thin. This time of year, we're supposed to be quiet. We're supposed to be retreating. Think of old days when, you kind of were forced to sit inside when you got locked in the winter, living on the prairie, right? So... we've just been accustomed to a certain way of living, and we're constantly needing to be connected and overstimulating ourselves, and it's making us tired. But the Ace of Swords is saying, we're giving you the gift of clarity. So, and look, even underneath the deck here was visualization. So, and look at, they're even sitting in meditation pose. And the full moon is on this one too, and I just noticed that it's on this Ace of Swords too. Very interesting. But yeah, your intuition is on point is what I hear. You can trust the intuitive guidance you're receiving. It's coming through crystal clear. I'm seeing a crystal clear ball, but that's also why I came up with clear quartz as a crystal to work with this week, to bring in lots of clarity, peace. You might have a lot of, I'm picking up on, and even in the blog this came through, but the crown chakra is opening, so you're receiving a lot of downloads from your crown chakra, because remember the swords represent our mind, so they also represent communication, but it's mostly our thoughts. So you're receiving new ideas or new inspirations, or you're really being guided, especially by spirit animals. I'm picking both up on the tiger and the owl actually, but also you might just be drawn to other spirit animals. Whatever animals come to you through your own intuition is perfect for you. So but you're being guided, and you can trust this guidance. I'm picking up on a lot of wisdom. You have lots of wisdom from other lifetimes you're tapping into, and you can only access this wisdom, like I said, by dropping into the subconscious mind, which stores all of our lifetime's information, right? So when you tap into your subconscious mind, you're downloading information. It's kind of like a form of education. It's just divine intelligence. Rather than we've been taught that intelligence and education comes from the outside in, what we're really learning is that education comes from within. It's about self-mastery and mastering yourself so that you can be the highest version of yourself. And that's exactly what the Four of Swords is about, this energy of self-mastery and, have it mastering your mind, so that you can feel peace at will. If you're in a chaotic situation, how can you will your mind to feel at peace, right? Rather than allowing it to spiral out of control and feeling helpless or victim, feeling like a victim or feeling trapped or bound in some certain way. How can you create inner peace? Okay, what else are we not seeing clearly with the Ace of Swords, Spirit? Okay, beautiful. Relationships. It says intimacy, freedom, acceptance, and trust. So, and you're also, if you're calling in a relationship of any kind, you're receiving guidance, you're receiving the clarity, crystal clear. So trust it. And this even says trust on the card. And I just was talking about you feel free. And this says freedom on it and acceptance. When you really get to, know who you are, especially through different lifetimes and all the powers you possess and all all the gifts you possess and all the knowledge and the wisdom you possess, you know that that's where your value comes from, not from a relationship, right? A lot of times we put our, like, if I'm in a relationship, I'm valuable, or, you know, if I have a certain amount of money in my bank account, then I'm valuable. If I've put in enough hours at work, then I'm valuable, you know, but you're valuable now, just as you are, completely, wholly, right now. You don't need to earn any of it. You know, it's given. But a lot of us were taught in relationships, through our earliest relationships, especially with our parents, which are going to affect our intimate relationships as adults. You know, if we felt very, you know, especially I'm picking up on codependency, which would be the opposite of this, like, feeling very, you know, independent and secure. And the security is the solar plexus chakra. So feeling really secure within yourself, knowing who you are. Like, a lot of us don't know who we are outside of our relationships, right? Because we've been taught to identify ourselves with our earliest relationship. So, you know, like for me, like I identified with, you know, being a woman. My mom taught me everything I know about being a woman, you know, and my father taught me everything I know about being a man, right? But they were both playing out roles that were very distorted, and that's not, you know, they weren't being true to themselves, right? And so this is about, you know, acceptance, and really when you know yourself, then you can express yourself, and then somebody else can really see into you, right? Intimacy is into me you see. So when we can really connect to our own emotions, and this is the energy of the sacral chakra. So when you connect to your emotions and you know what you're truly feeling and you're not neglecting them, right? Remember I was saying that door with Monica, and like we're just shoving our emotions away because we just don't want to deal with them, you know, like when we can actually begin to bring them into who we are, they add more depth to who we are. You know, we're multifaceted and we're allowed to feel different emotions. We can feel gratitude and sadness and grief at the same time, right? That's been happening to me a lot recently. I've been moving through a lot of grief, but at the same time I'm feeling this expansion in my heart, I'm feeling this expansion in my mind, I'm feeling this deep intimate connection to, you know, to different relationships, whether that relationship is to my body, number one, that relationship is to my spirit, you know, my relationship to the earth, my relationship to my sexuality, my relationship to my spirituality, my relationship to the earth, my relationship to, you know, in friendships, your relationships in families. So you have to remember that life is literally just all a huge series of relationships, and what they're coming to teach us, they're teaching us, like, relationships are an opportunity to learn and grow, but a lot of people don't look at relationships from that point of view. They want to see relationships as a way to gratify their ego, like, you make me feel good about myself, or, you know, you supply safety and security for me even though you treat me like shit, you know, like, you know, it's just like a very distorted way of having a relationship. So if you are calling in, you know, a committed, healthy relationship, and I like that they're holding hands, you might see, I'm picking up on, you know, you're seeing other people, you know, holding hands in relationships, especially if you're like blessing other people's relationships. That will really help you to, you know, cultivate that same feeling, right? To call in that same thing. So there's just this energy of connecting more, and look, it showed up underneath the deck again. It's showing up more vulnerably towards yourself, like connecting with your emotions. And the sacral chakra is about abundance, it's about gratitude, it's about pleasure and passion. So feeling very like seen and heard in your relationships, and really when you're beginning to finally see and hear your own emotions, you know, that's going to make you feel, it's going to validate yourself, right? And a lot of times in relationships we're looking to be seen, we're looking to be heard, we're looking to act out our inner child wounds with our adult partner, right? So, you know, whatever relationship impacted us the most deeply, whether it be our mother or our father, we will attract that in our adult relationships. So as a way to heal, so if you can use it as a way to heal, then your relationship will deepen, right? That's what intimacy is. As you know, move through those difficult times and those difficult emotions, I'm not saying allowing yourself to be walked all over or treated like garbage, but if you're both willing to put in the work and you're both willing to look deeper at your own selves and become better versions of yourself because of it, and you're willing to put in the work and you're devoting to becoming more aware, and you're devoting to, you know, healing this relationship by healing the relationship you have with yourself. That's what relationships are. They're a vehicle for growth. A lot of times we want to be in relationships for false ideas. So getting really clear, there was this energy of really knowing what your values are. And there's a shift in values happening this week, which I love with the week of Thanksgiving. Like, you know, a lot of times we're taught to value things that are draining us or depleting us, and we're not taught to value things that, you know, give us energy, or that give us life and make us feel purposeful. So a lot of people, these codes are being activated within your being now with these energies we're receiving from the planet. Is, you know, like it's activating these codes of like your spiritual gifts, of, you know, like you might just be having memories resurface. So This could be past life relationships I'm picking up on for some. So, and also it's a 9 card, so it's like the end of a cycle, the beginning of a new cycle. The solar plexus was number 15 or 6, which might be numbers that are important for you in some way. Okay, Spirit, what is your advice for us this week? Okay, 7 of Pentacles. I like the little bees on this card. And this is the energy to me of the 7 of Pentacles is always this card of like there's no need to worry. I'm going to get another one. What else is your advice with the 7 of Pentacles this week? Okay, yes, the Ace of Cups. There's no need to worry. To place your focus on love this week. And I love the dragon on this card. And the purple. I just love all the colors of the hearts. So, bees might be another message for you or a spirit animal that you work with. And the bees, this 7 of Pentacles paired with the Ace of Cups is saying to me, like, keep putting in the work to, like, love yourself, right? And I was saying every relationship that we're in is a reflection of the relationship we have with ourselves. So if we kind of struggle with accepting our partner or accepting our coworkers or accepting our friends and we're constantly judging them, what we're truly doing is judging aspects of ourselves that we've put in that closet, right, that we don't want to deal with. And they're just, they're revealing them to us, and we're like, what? I put you into the closet. You're not supposed to be out here, and I'm going to judge you, rather than dealing with it. And, like, once you start to deal with the things that you've hid in your closet, like that you've suppressed and you haven't dealt with, when you start to bring them into the light, you no longer see them triggered in other people. You accept them in that other person because you're accepting it within yourself. So if you have a hard time accepting a certain quality in your partner, what it's really showing you is what you need to do in order to accept that quality within yourself, And a lot of times we don't want to look at other people's shadows. We want to judge them, and there's this energy of blame in relationships that I've been picking up on recently, and that blame keeps us stuck, and it keeps us stuck in situations so that we don't have to look at guilt. That's what I was picking up on too this week, is a lot of guilt. A lot of you are feeling sick to your stomach, or and you're feeling really guilty for saying. A lot of you are learning how to place boundaries and learning how to say no, and it's making you feel really uncomfortable to say no to people that you're used to always saying yes to, and they might be triggered by your boundaries. And you have to remember that how people react to you placing a boundary has nothing to do with you, and if you can create the sense of self-love for yourself, then there's no need to worry. Like, this always to me is like planting seeds. So Spirit to me is saying the advice is to plant seeds of love. Focus on love. Like, how can you cultivate more love? It's probably going to require you to have to get quiet, And so there's just some relationship healing going on I'm picking up on. And this could be, look at your patterns in your relationship. Look at how you were brought up from your family. Like, how did your parents relate in their relationships? How did your mom speak to your dad? How did your dad treat your mom, right? Look at those things. How did your dad handle money? How did your dad handle confrontation? How did your mom, speak to herself about, how did your mom speak to herself about her body, like all these different things. Like, how did your mom behave? Was your mom very judgmental? Was your dad very judgmental? Like, where did you learn to be so judgmental and highly critical? Like, where did you learn to betray yourself in order for love? Did you watch your mom betray herself for love? Just watch what you saw. Like, what did you see? And that's where, right? That's our subconscious mind. So how we saw our environment, how we grew up is all sort of in the subconscious mind. And if we grew up in a very unstable home, or if we grew up with unstable parents, like that were mentally unstable or emotionally unstable, or both, if we struggle with any of that, then we're not going to want to sit with our subconscious mind, because we're going to store lots of trauma. And remember, the subconscious mind is the body. So when we're in the subconscious mind, we're in the body, and the body is where we store trauma. So our mind doesn't always remember our trauma, but our body always will. So sitting, making sure that you're, taking really good care of yourself, and that you're maybe seeking somebody out that can hold this space for you while you're moving through this. Or I know I've done a lot of it myself, and just, supporting myself with lots of self-love, self-compassion, and, nurturing myself with food, nurturing myself with just different modalities, like picking up yoga, like I said, meditating, reading, drawing, writing, crying, taking a bath, self-massage, like doing something to get you out of your mind this week and into your heart, into your body. And what we have to redo is retrain our nervous system to hold more energies of love and peace and connection and acceptance and safety and stability. And that takes connecting with the subconscious mind / body. And especially if you struggle with your relationship with your body, if you're highly critical of your body, or you feel really uncomfortable in your skin, or you don't like your body, or you judge your body a lot, like the more you heal your relationship with your body, the more confident you're going to feel on this earth, the more safe you're going to feel on this earth, the more confident and safe you're going to feel in your relationships. So if you're feeling any sort of instability or insecurity in your relationships, it's really a reflection of what's going on inside of you, and how can you create more security, more stability, more presence, more peace, more connection, more love, and then you'll see that reflected in your external world. But it starts within. That's what we don't like. We want to bypass that. We don't want to go within. We want somebody else to make our problems go away. We want somebody else to make us feel better. We want somebody else to do it for us, and it has to be done by ourselves. There's just no other way around it. Okay, what is your advice with the Ace of Cups and the Seven of Pentacles, Spirit? Yes, I love this, the mind. I think this came up underneath the deck last week, but I love this because the mind, right, which we had come up with the with the Four of Swords and the Ace of Swords, and this has openness, flexibility, imagination, and learning. And I love that with the energy of Sagittarius, because not only is Sagittarius the teacher, but it's also like, it will trek inside its own soul to uncover its own wisdom, and so that it can share it, right? So it's forever the student, but it's also forever the teacher, right? We can't have one without the other. We're going to be constant students to life. We're going to be, our relationships are our, we're going to be constantly growing in our relationships, in my opinion, and we're going to be learning more about ourselves. That's the purpose of relationships, is to learn more about who you are. So really open your mind. When it comes to relationships, a lot of us have these very limited beliefs and these very limited ideas about what relationships are and how they're supposed to look in order to be considered, a relationship, right? And a lot of us, we think that relationships are, like betraying ourselves or pretending to be something we're not, or, settling for less. Like I said, a lot of people would rather settle for less than be alone, right? And if you are alone right now, it's a gift. It's a gift so that you can reunite with that source within you that knows that it's never truly alone, right? So that's the whole gift of isolation, of being alone, is to recognize that you're never truly alone. It's only the mind that sees separation. And when you come back into the heart, right, into the subconscious mind, into the body, you feel that you are not alone. You know for certain that you feel a connection to something that's bigger than you, something that's, you're connected to, you can feel the collective, right? So it's funny because we think that we're alone, but we're one collective consciousness, and we're all one. So and guess what makes us one? Not our minds, right? Because our minds are all separate, right? We're all individual minds. We all perceive the world differently. Every single one of us has a different view, which is beautiful because that's humanity. But what connects us all is this ocean of emotion, and we all feel each other's feelings, but we have different experiences. We perceive things differently. We have different scenarios. We're learning in different ways, but we're feeling the same emotions, right? So even when we're in our despair and our loneliness and we're so sad and we feel so disconnected, we have to come to realize that I'm not alone. There's billions of people on this earth, and like when we're connecting into our emotions, we can be like, wow, I'm connected to so many people that are feeling, when you're feeling joy and you're cultivating high vibrational feelings of peace and connection and love, and you're tapping into everybody else on the planet that's also feeling those emotions, you feel so supported, you feel so connected, and it's a beautiful feeling that makes you feel loved, seen, heard, accepted, and it's not coming from the outside world. It's coming from a connection purely to your own spirit, to your own soul, to the connection to all that is. So I love that with the mind. It's like quieting your mind, because your mind's going to tell you lies. Your mind is going to tell you lies all day long, and you have to really begin to silence them and quiet them. You don't even have to force yourself to do anything. All you have to do is, like I said, come back to the present moment. I just created a video on cultivating connection through mindfulness, so that might be a video for you to check out, especially if you're feeling very anxious, or you're struggling with any mental health at all, or any like emotional health, if you're feeling depressed or lonely or sad. Really coming back to the present moment, allowing those emotions to flow through you, right? A lot of times we're in so much resistance, because I said, like with the closet situation, we're hiding our emotions, we're pushing them away because we don't think they make us acceptable or lovable, right? We've been taught that maybe through our parents' behaviors, that we're punished when we feel angry or we're sad. We're neglected when we're crying, and so we stop doing those things because it doesn't, we never got loved doing those things. We got punished or neglected. And so we fear that's going to happen again. But what we have to practice doing is showing up for ourselves in those moments of despair, in those moments of our dark times, in those moments of our sadness and our grief and our loss and our anger. Can we show up for ourselves in this gentle, loving way? And that's what we realize our strength comes from. Like I was saying, when somebody's like trying to drag you down or they're trying to be really negative, your strength comes from not being persuaded and dragged into their emotional tides, right? And so you're not sucked down into that negative energy. You're rising above the occasion, right? That's the energy of strength, right? Strength isn't fighting and pushing back and creating more power struggles and more resistance. It's rising above. And think about that in your relationships. It's so funny because recently I connect with a soulmate, and sometimes this soulmate really evokes a lot of my anger, right? And so it triggers a lot of my anger. And sometimes I notice, because I watched my parents physically fight, I will want to fight. And that's something I was subconsciously exposed to in my environment that dictated and would control and dictate my behavior, right? If I wasn't aware of it and learned how to channel that anger into like passion and into desire and into unconditional love, right? And you do that through ways of, creativity or through exercise. Exercise is how I do it. Honestly, I have to move that energy so that I can feel really strong and powerful within myself, so then I don't want to attack anyone outside of me, And this is just something I've had to accept within myself, that I have a lot of anger, and that's okay. Anger is not bad. I was just taught that it was bad because I was never taught how to handle it. And it's funny because I carry such a strong charge in my legs, and that's why I love to run or bounce. Like I bounce a lot through dancing, and this helps me use up, because I'll sometimes feel myself, like if I'm feeling really angry or restless or anxious, I'll have a lot of energy in my legs, so I know that I need to move, because I used to throw tantrums. I can't believe this still showed up underneath the deck. That is totally a sign. That's crazy after 3 times around, okay? When I was a kid, I would throw tantrums and I would kick. I would kick so hard and I'd get so mad. And it's funny because like I was like also a sweet, nice little girl, and we're taught, especially that gender roles thing, like girls aren't allowed to feel anger, and boys, they're not allowed to feel sadness. You're weak if you feel sadness and you're a boy. And it's just like, and you're bad if you feel anger and you're a girl. Little girls aren't supposed to act like that. Like, no. I'm going to feel however I want. That's the feminine energy, is it's multifaceted. It's going to feel whatever it wants to feel. And, it's just our mind that has attachments to our emotions. So if you can let go of the attachments to your feelings, then you can allow them to move through you, and then they don't get clogged up. And when they get clogged up, that's when we rely on addictions to make us feel good. That's when we rely on our partner to make us feel good about ourselves or to make us feel loved or wanted. So really keeping your mind open to viewing things in different ways, right? So the mind is opening and the heart is opening. I really like this energy. And the solar plexus. So that's like the root, the crown, and the center all expanding. All right, I'm going to get one from this journey of love to end it for the overall message for this week. What's the overall message for this week? Ooh, I like it. Shakti, number 19. Look at all the red, and I love that because it is Sagittarius season, which is a fire sign. So let's read this one. Number 19 or 20. Or number 19 or number 10, sorry. Could be numbers that are important to you. Okay, this says, Shakti is divine feminine fire. She is the body awakened with light. I love that because I was talking about the subconscious mind. She is the divine feminine, and she is the Kundalini, the energetic force that moves through us, triggered by love that leads to enlightenment of our body. I love that. With our Kundalini coming alive within us, we cannot remain as we once were. It is impossible. We may try to lead the same lives, be the same in our relationship patterns, and perhaps even behave properly. Oh my gosh, I was just saying that. But it simply cannot be done. Soon our disguise slips and people wonder what happened to her or what has got into him. We are on fire with the divine and we cannot help but misbehave. Oh, I love that. We are no longer satisfied with trying to be the good child or fearing we are the bad child. Oh my gosh, I was just talking about that. We know ourselves instead to be the divine child. The child divine lives fully and with passionate fire, not doing things the way they are supposed to be done, perhaps, but living instead from the heart. I love that because I was talking about gender roles. Our body may ache as we burn through old pain, and sometimes the light within may seem so bright it blinds us for the moment. That's totally the solar plexus chakra. But that will pass, and the misbehaving will suddenly be seen for what it is. The old rules just don't fit anymore. You don't plug a globe capable of illuminating the whole world into the bedside reading lamp without burning the house down. Best to let that light shine as it was meant to in the big arena. That makes me think of a quote from Brene Brown, and I cannot think of it right off the top of my head, but check out her, just Google Brene Brown. It's her documentary I'm picking up on Netflix. Dare to something, but anyway, she talks about being in the big arena. Shakti is making your light grow, beloved. Be prepared to shine brighter. This oracle brings you a message. You are going through energetic shifts in your subtle anatomy. Because your energy body and physical body have already begun to merge with each other, the energetic shifts will affect your physical body too. It is always wise to consult a healthcare practitioner, but at least some of your physical challenges at this time, from aches and pains to tiredness, are due to this energetic awakening. Take responsible action as you feel is necessary, such as tending to your physical well-being with health care that feels supportive, but also remember to rest. That's totally Four of Swords. Get some time in nature and nurture your body as it is spiritually awakening into greater light. So that literally went perfect with everything I was feeling and picking up on. So I'm going to read the poem to you. I have watched you hurting and felt helpless to make life better for you. Loving you is having to make choices to let you be who you are, who you become, and all the who's yet to come. To love you is to ride the waves of your passionate embrace of life, ever mindful of the change in the wind and the occasional tempest brewing. Loving you is having to make choices, knowing it isn't my fault. I can still choose to take it personally or just be, while I listen and watch you unfold. Your heart is a beauty I will always love. It is the part of you that hasn't changed much over time. When I lie beside you and hear you breathe, when I touch your skin or caress your hair, you are timeless, and I choose loving you. Oh, how beautiful. That could be like a message from a beloved that you're connecting to, or it could be a message from like your highest self. And that felt so good with the Ace of Cups, and that was just a beautiful message. I hope this was helpful for you. I hope it was healing for you. I do private readings like I mentioned before, so you can find that information below. I hope you have a wonderful week, and I'll see you soon. Take care.